Think about the moments when you pushed yourself beyond your limits, where exhaustion became your norm and stress became your companion. And think about the times when you hesitated, holding back, convincing yourself that tomorrow would be the day you'd finally begin. These extremes, doing too much or too little, create an internal war that drains your energy and steals your potential. But what if there was a different way? What if true success wasn't about working harder or pushing endlessly, but about moving strategically, with precision, with alignment? What if the secret wasn't in doing everything, but in doing just enough to trigger momentum, transformation, and change? Mastery is not about working endlessly until exhaustion overtakes you, nor is it about barely making an effort and expecting extraordinary results. It is about finding the equilibrium where progress becomes a natural extension of your being. When you push beyond your limits every single day, convincing yourself that more is always better, you enter a state of diminishing returns. Your energy depletes, your mind grows weary, and instead of evolving, you stagnate in cycles of fatigue. On the other hand, when you do too little, waiting for inspiration to strike or circumstances to align perfectly, you never break through the barriers holding you back. The key is to engage in a rhythm of effort that is neither excessive nor insufficient, a pattern that creates momentum without overwhelming the mind and body. Your body and mind thrive on consistency, not chaos. Overloading yourself with endless tasks, late-night work, and an unrelenting drive to push harder may seem like the path to success, but in reality, it weakens your ability to sustain growth. The body has its own intelligence. It requires rest to recover, reflection to process, and movement to evolve. When you disrupt this balance, your mind starts resisting, your emotions become erratic, and frustration replaces clarity. You start associating your journey with exhaustion rather than transformation. The more you force yourself beyond your natural rhythm, the more resistance you create within. The mind rebels, the body fatigues, and what once felt like ambition now feels like an uphill battle. The pursuit of mastery is about efficiency, not just effort. It is about knowing exactly how much energy to apply, when to accelerate, when to step back. When you observe those who reach extraordinary levels of success, you will notice that they are not the ones who constantly exhaust themselves. They are the ones who have learned to optimize their efforts. They understand that every movement, every decision, and every action must be intentional. They do enough to maintain momentum, but they do not drown themselves in unnecessary strain. They master the art of precise effort, ensuring that their energy is spent on what truly matters. There is a natural rhythm to progress, a flow that must be honored. If you try to plant seeds and constantly dig them up to check their growth, they will never have a chance to flourish. If you plant them and never tend to them, they will never take root. The same applies to your goals, your growth, and your transformation. You must engage with the process, but you must also allow space for things to unfold. Pushing too much disrupts the natural flow, while doing too little prevents progress from ever beginning. When you find the balance, you unlock a level of efficiency that allows you to move forward without resistance. The mind functions at its highest capacity when it is neither overwhelmed nor understimulated. When you take on too much, you enter a state of stress, which clouds judgment and diminishes creativity. When you do too little, your mind lacks stimulation and the motivation to grow weakens. The secret is in creating a rhythm where your mind remains engaged but not exhausted, challenged but not overwhelmed. It is in this space that mastery is cultivated. It is not about extremes, it is about precision, about understanding how to align your energy with your intention in a way that sustains growth over time. When you align yourself with this balance, work no longer feels like an exhausting obligation, but a natural expression of your potential. You begin to trust the process, knowing that sustainable growth is built on consistency, not on constant strain. You start moving with intention rather than force, allowing progress to become effortless. Your body responds, your mind sharpens, and your energy remains steady. Instead of burning out or standing still, you create an environment where mastery becomes inevitable. Most people believe that success is about managing time, squeezing more hours into the day, and pushing through exhaustion. But the truth is, time itself is not the determining factor of achievement. Energy is. You can have all the time in the world, but if your energy is scattered, depleted, or mismanaged, those hours become meaningless. On the other hand, if you learn to control, direct, and optimize your energy, even a few focused moments can create breakthroughs. It is not about how much time you dedicate, but about the quality of energy you bring to every action. Think about the days when you've been completely exhausted. The hours pass, but nothing meaningful gets done. Your body is present, but your mind is sluggish. Your creativity is dull, and your motivation is nowhere to be found. Compare that to the days when you are fully engaged, where you lose track of time because you are so absorbed in the task. What changed? Not the number of hours in the day, but the energy available to you. When you start prioritizing energy over time, you begin to see the difference between forced effort and effortless progress. The body and mind operate in cycles. You are not designed to be in a constant state of exertion. When you push without replenishing, your energy drains, your focus weakens, and your ability to make effective decisions diminishes. Your productivity does not decrease because of a lack of hours. It decreases because your energy reserves have been depleted. The key is learning how to optimize energy so that your peak moments of performance are used strategically and your recovery moments are honored. Energy moves in waves. And when you learn how to ride those waves rather than fight against them, you unlock a level of efficiency that cannot be achieved through time management alone. Your emotional state is deeply connected to your energy levels. Stress, frustration, and overwhelm are not just mental states. They are energy leaks. Every moment spent in resistance, doubt, or negative self-talk drains your capacity to create, to focus, and to move forward. This is why some people can work for hours but produce very little, while others can work for a short period and generate incredible results. The difference lies in the quality of energy behind the action. When your energy is aligned, your work becomes fluid, ideas flow effortlessly, and what once felt difficult now feels natural. You have to train yourself to recognize when your energy is in alignment and when it is being depleted. Most people ignore the signals their bodies give them. They drink more coffee, push through exhaustion, and convince themselves that more hours equal more success, but this is an illusion. The mind fatigues when overworked. The body weakens when neglected. The more you ignore this, the harder it becomes to create with clarity. Instead of forcing productivity, the secret is in working with your energy, not against it. When you feel resistance, instead of pushing harder, step back and realign. When you feel inspired, amplify that energy and use it strategically. The highest performers in the world are not those who work the longest hours. They are those who have mastered the ability to manage their energy. They know when to exert, when to recharge, when to push forward, and when to step back. They understand that their ability to create, lead, and achieve is not determined by the clock, but by the level of energy they bring to every moment. They do not drain themselves in the name of success. They refine their focus, direct their energy, and operate in alignment with their highest potential. When you make energy your priority, everything else begins to fall into place. Success is not built in a single moment of effort, nor is it the result of an all-out sprint that leaves you drained and exhausted. It is created through the quiet, steady rhythm of daily action repeated over time. The world often glorifies intensity, pushing harder, doing more, and going to extremes. But the truth is, real progress comes from consistency. It is not about how much you do in a single day, but what you commit to doing every day, regardless of circumstances. Small actions, when repeated over time, create a force more powerful than any momentary burst of motivation. The mind is wired for patterns. Every thought you think, every action you take, every habit you build is reinforcing a path within your subconscious. When you push yourself too hard in a single moment and then crash, your mind does not register that as sustainable growth. It registers it as exhaustion. But when you take small, deliberate steps every day, your mind begins to see progress as a natural state of being. It no longer becomes something you have to force, it becomes something you are. This is the power of consistency. When you focus only on intensity, you create instability. One day you feel motivated and do everything all at once. The next day, exhaustion sets in and you stop completely. This cycle of extremes leads to frustration because it never builds real momentum. The secret is not in overwhelming yourself, but in finding a rhythm that allows you to move forward without resistance. It is about showing up every day, even if just for a small effort, and allowing that effort to compound over time. The greatest transformations do not happen in a single moment of inspiration. They happen in the quiet decisions made day after day, when no one is watching, when there is no immediate reward, when it would be easier to quit. Those who achieve mastery are not necessarily the most talented, nor are they the ones who work themselves to exhaustion. They are the ones who commit to the process, knowing that small steps taken consistently will eventually lead to extraordinary results. Every action you take is sending a message to your subconscious about who you are becoming. When you act with consistency, you reinforce the identity of someone who follows through, who stays disciplined, who does not wait for motivation but creates momentum through effort. Over time, this repetition rewires your brain, making discipline effortless and success inevitable. But when you rely on sporadic bursts of energy, your mind never fully integrates the habit. You remain stuck in cycles of starting and stopping, wondering why progress feels temporary. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not found in intensity, but in their ability to keep going when it would be easier to stop. Consistency builds confidence, not just in the results you achieve, but in the person you become. When you prove to yourself that you can show up every day, no matter how small the action, you build trust in yourself. That trust becomes the foundation for everything else. There is a reason why the most successful people focus on daily habits rather than one-time efforts. They understand that each day is an opportunity to reinforce their vision, to take another step forward, to strengthen the neural pathways that lead to excellence. They do not look for shortcuts or quick fixes. They embrace the power of steady, continuous progress. They understand that mastery is not created in a single day, but in the accumulation of disciplined action over time. Most people believe that success is about doing more, but in reality, it is about doing the right things with precision and focus. Productivity is not measured by the sheer amount of effort exerted. It is determined by the quality of that effort. When energy is spread too thin, when the mind is cluttered with too many tasks, progress slows down. The key is not in adding more to your plate, but in refining your approach so that every action is intentional, every movement is aligned, and every effort produces meaningful results. The mind thrives on clarity. When there is too much going on, too many responsibilities, too many distractions, too many competing priorities, the brain enters a state of cognitive overload. Decisions become harder, focus weakens, and creativity diminishes. This is why some people work long hours but accomplish very little. They are caught in a cycle of busyness rather than effectiveness. The most successful individuals are not those who do the most, they are those who master the ability to focus deeply on what truly matters. Distraction is the enemy of progress. Every time the mind shifts from one task to another, energy is lost. Mental residue builds up, making it harder to concentrate. When energy is dispersed in too many directions, even the simplest tasks become overwhelming. But when focus is directed toward a singular goal, momentum builds. The brain enters a state of flow, where action becomes effortless, where time disappears, and where real breakthroughs occur. It is not about doing more, it is about eliminating the unnecessary so that every action carries weight and purpose. The difference between those who excel and those who struggle is not intelligence, nor is it talent. It is the ability to direct attention toward what is essential while blocking out everything else. In a world filled with distractions, the rarest skill is the ability to concentrate deeply, to filter out the noise, and to give full energy to one thing at a time. This is why some people achieve extraordinary results in a fraction of the time it takes others. They do not multitask, they do not get caught up in trivial matters, they channel all their energy into the few things that make the greatest impact. Every action carries an opportunity cost when time and energy are spent on low-value activities. that time and energy cannot be recovered. The key is in becoming intentional about where effort is placed. Most people fall into the trap of trying to do everything, believing that the more they take on, the more they will accomplish. But high achievers understand that real progress comes from subtraction, not addition. They remove distractions, they simplify their approach, and they refine their focus until only the most important actions remain. Efficiency is not about working harder, it is about working smarter. It's about identifying the highest leverage actions, the ones that produce the greatest results with the least amount of wasted effort. It is about recognizing that 80% of results often come from just 20% of actions. Instead of trying to force progress through sheer effort, the key is in identifying the patterns that create momentum and doubling down on them. It is about refining the process, optimizing the system, and eliminating everything that does not contribute to the goal. The ability to focus is a discipline. It requires training the mind to resist distractions, to stay committed to the task at hand, and to develop a sense of deep awareness about where energy is being directed. It requires making conscious decisions about how time is spent, about what deserves attention, and about what must be let go. The most successful individuals are not those who work endlessly. They are those who understand that precision creates power. They move with intention, they operate with clarity, and they produce extraordinary results by doing less, but doing it with absolute mastery. The mind operates on patterns, and whatever becomes a pattern in your life becomes your reality. When effort is spread across too many things, progress feels slow, scattered, and inconsistent. But when focus is directed toward a few high-impact actions, results compound over time. The key is not in doing more, but in doing the essential things with full presence and precision. It is about recognizing the difference between motion and progress, between being busy and being effective. Most people feel the need to fill every moment with activity, believing that more action leads to more success. But action without intention is wasted energy. Productivity is not about stacking tasks endlessly. It is about refining the process so that the actions taken actually lead to results. The goal is not to be in constant motion, but to move with purpose. The highest achievers are not those who do the most, but those who do what matters most, eliminating anything that does not contribute to meaningful progress. There is a limit to how much energy the mind and body can expend before diminishing returns set in. Pushing beyond that limit does not lead to growth, it leads to burnout. True progress requires sustainability. It requires understanding how to pace effort, when to push forward, and when to allow the mind and body to recover. Working endlessly does not lead to mastery. Mastery is achieved through focused, deliberate practice, through deep engagement with the right tasks at the right time. When energy is scattered, results become unpredictable. One day, motivation is high and massive effort is exerted. The next day, exhaustion sets in and nothing gets done. This cycle of extremes creates instability, making it difficult to maintain momentum. The key is in balance, learning to operate at a sustainable level where effort is applied consistently without depleting mental and physical reserves. The most successful people do not rely on temporary surges of motivation. They build systems that allow them to progress steadily day after day. Overcommitting to too many things creates unnecessary friction. The mind becomes overwhelmed, decision fatigue sets in, and performance declines. When focus is placed on fewer, high-value tasks, clarity emerges, decisions become easier, action becomes more precise. Instead of trying to force results through brute effort, progress is made through strategic action. Doing less, but doing it with excellence, produces far greater results than doing more at a mediocre level. The brain thrives on simplicity. When tasks are streamlined and priorities are clear, the mind functions at its highest level. But when too many obligations compete for attention, energy becomes fragmented. The secret to long-term progress is in designing a system that allows for sustained effort without mental overload. It is about structuring time, energy, and focus in a way that maximizes efficiency while minimizing unnecessary strain. Sustained success is not about extremes. It is about consistency. It is about showing up with the same level of focus and energy every day, rather than working intensely for short bursts and then collapsing. It is about building a rhythm where effort is applied intelligently. where work and recovery are balanced, where actions are taken with precision and where momentum is built over time. When effort is concentrated on fewer things, mastery is achieved faster, progress becomes more predictable, and success is no longer a matter of chance, but a natural outcome of intentional action. The mind is designed to function optimally when it is given the space to process, reflect, and integrate new information. When every moment is filled with activity, when every ounce of energy is used up without replenishment, the system begins to break down. Overworking the mind is like overworking a muscle. It does not grow stronger, it fatigues, loses efficiency, and eventually collapses under the strain. Success is not about pushing relentlessly without pause. It is about understanding the rhythms of effort and recovery, about knowing when to exert energy and when to step back to allow the mind to reset. Creativity, problem solving, and high-level thinking require mental clarity. When the mind is constantly engaged in task after task, it never has the chance to recalibrate. Just as sleep is essential for the body to repair and restore itself, periods of mental stillness are necessary for deep insights to emerge. Many people believe that taking breaks, pausing, or stepping away from work is a sign of laziness, but in reality, these moments of rest are what allow for long-term productivity. The brain needs time to organize thoughts, to connect patterns, to make sense of complex ideas. When every moment is filled with effort, these deeper cognitive processes are suppressed and the ability to think creatively diminishes. There is a difference between being active and being effective. A person can spend an entire day working without making meaningful progress, while another can work for a few focused hours and accomplish far more. The difference lies in the ability to allow the mind to recharge. Many of the most profound breakthroughs in science, business, and art have not come during periods of intense labor, but in moments of reflection, in times of stillness, when the mind is free to wander and make unexpected connections. The subconscious mind is always working in the background, but when there is no space for it to operate, it becomes drowned out by constant activity. Sustainability is the foundation of long-term success. Burnout is not a badge of honor. It is a sign of inefficiency. When exhaustion sets in, decision-making suffers, mistakes increase, and motivation declines. The idea that working harder always leads to better results is an illusion. The most successful individuals understand that their energy is their greatest asset, and they protect it fiercely. They know that progress is not about running at full speed until they collapse. It is about moving steadily forward, maintaining a pace that allows for consistent performance without depletion. The nervous system operates on cycles. Just as the body requires a balance of exertion and rest, the mind needs intervals of deep focus followed by moments of relaxation. The greatest performers, whether in sports, business, or any other field, do not operate in a state of continuous strain. They understand that mastery is built through a balance of disciplined effort and intentional recovery. When the mind is given time to process, insights become sharper, energy remains high, and performance becomes more sustainable. Stepping away from constant work does not mean losing momentum. It means allowing the mind to work in a different way, to recover so that when effort is applied again, it is applied with full force and clarity. It is about learning to trust that real progress does not come from doing more. It comes from doing what is necessary with full presence and then giving the mind space to integrate what has been learned. When this balance is mastered, success stops being a struggle and starts becoming a natural, sustainable process. The quality of effort determines the quality of results. When energy is directed with precision, when focus is sharp, and when intention is clear, the impact of every action is amplified. But when effort is scattered, when tasks are approached with half-awarenessness, the results are inconsistent and progress is slow. Success is not about working endlessly, but about working intelligently, about understanding that real transformation comes not from the quantity of effort, but from the depth of engagement in each moment. Many people believe that doing more is the key to achieving more. They fill their schedules with tasks, constantly moving from one thing to another, believing that productivity is measured by how busy they are. But busyness is not the same as progress. The mind can only process so much at a time, and when it is overloaded, its effectiveness decreases. True achievement comes when actions are taken with clarity and precision, when every ounce of energy is directed toward what truly matters. The difference between those who struggle and those who succeed is not in the amount of effort, but in the efficiency of that effort. The nervous system is not designed for continuous stress. When the mind is constantly engaged in effort without recovery, it begins to operate on autopilot, losing the ability to think critically and creatively. The most effective individuals are not the ones who push without pause, but the ones who understand when to step back, when to reflect, when to recharge. Just as a muscle needs time to recover after intense training, the mind needs space to process and integrate new information. Without this balance, performance declines, motivation fades, and results become harder to sustain. Concentrated effort produces exponential results. A single hour of deep, focused work is more valuable than an entire day of distracted, fragmented activity. The brain thrives on deep engagement, on moments where every thought, every action is aligned with a singular purpose. When attention is divided among too many things, energy becomes diluted and the quality of work suffers. The key is not to do everything, but to do the essential things exceptionally well. Mastery is built through repetition, but not just any repetition, deliberate, intentional repetition. Going through the motions, simply completing tasks for the sake of checking them off a list, does not lead to excellence. Growth happens when each repetition is approached with full awareness, with an understanding of how to refine, how to improve, how to optimize. The highest performers in any field do not practice mindlessly. They practice with purpose. They recognize that doing something once with complete attention is more valuable than doing it 100 times without thought. The mind operates most effectively when it is not burdened by excess. Complexity leads to hesitation, to doubt, to inefficiency. When life is simplified, when only the most important actions are prioritized, momentum builds naturally. Energy flows where attention goes, and when attention is directed toward a few powerful actions rather than being spread thin across many distractions, results follow effortlessly. The difference between success and stagnation often lies in the ability to simplify, to strip away what does not serve the ultimate goal, and to focus only on what moves the needle forward. The ability to achieve more by doing less is not about working less, it's about working better. It is about understanding that the mind and body function optimally when effort is applied with precision, when action is taken with full engagement, when the unnecessary is removed and only the essential remains. Those who learn to direct their energy with purpose, who master the art of intentional action, create extraordinary results not through sheer force, but through clarity, focus, and an unshakable commitment to doing what truly matters. The path to success is not found in endless struggle, in constant exertion without reflection, or in the belief that more effort always leads to better results. It is found in the mastery of balance, the ability to do enough without doing too much, to push forward without burning out, to work with intensity but also with wisdom. True progress is made when effort is intentional, when every action serves a purpose, when energy is directed toward what truly matters. The mind and body are not designed for unrelenting strain, but for cycles of deep engagement and recovery. Excellence is not about how much is done, but how well it is done. By embracing precision over excess, focus over busyness, and sustainability over exhaustion, the process of achievement becomes more natural, more powerful, and more fulfilling.